Hello, my friends. How are you this week? I am in love with high performance, leadership, and spirituality. It seems like those three things are intersecting in my life in magnificent ways. And the more that I focus on them, that's our cue that it's 11:11 and time to invite the divine angels to the table. I love Charlie's Angels. I remember that the version of it that had Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore. And are you ready, angels? I have my alarm go off at 11:11 just as a cue for myself to remember, invite the divine into my life. Get my head out of the hurry and hustle, out of the to-do list, and into alignment with my highest self, the best of myself. Not the false self that's wearing facades or that's been conditioned to behave in certain ways, but the truest, most beautiful expression of myself. And when I'm in that space, I'm able to give myself grace and I'm able to give others grace. So as we meet this week, I'm going to bring you behind the scenes into my reality. And this is really tough to do because I don't love being vulnerable. I've been conditioned to be picture perfect, to show up prepared, and to show up as the absolute best of yourself. Yet, as an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. So, I put in the description the greater the risk, the greater the, most people will say reward. That is true. You know me, I'm your mathematician. Normal distribution curve, common behaviors lead to common results. We know that the mediocre middle is not where we're designed to be. That's not why we came to this earth and made our grand appearance here, my friends. We came here with greater responsibility than that. So we're choosing our top percent. I incrementally grew mine. As I was quadrupling my income and had big, ambitious goals for myself, I initially was like, all right, I'm going to get 4 years achievement done in one. You want to know how I do that? With simple systems and structures that help me get 1 year's worth of growth per quarter. That's how the highly successful succeed. Yet, that path also led me to cancer. And cancer is, like many diseases, the root cause is stress. 90 to 95% of cancers are diet and lifestyle related, meaning we're conditioning them. I don't have the genetic markers for cancer, so I have to own the reality that I created a gorgeous home for cancer in my body. And it's true. I had to face the truth that I wasn't as good at managing stress as I like to believe. I used to even lie to myself. I literally told a friend of mine, I'm good at managing stress. And as we were sitting on my patio, he said, really? Didn't you get your cortisol results back from your functional team this week? And I said, yeah. He goes, what did they say? And I said, well, they said that I wake and sleep in the normal range, but it's that middle that's a little bit of a challenge, like the workday part. He said, a little bit? I thought you said it was 8 times what is normal and that he thought you had a life-threatening job. I said, "Oh yeah, that part is also true." Right? So we kind of collect these partial truths, and I love the Harvard professor who really put that under the spotlight with the book The 7 Sins of Memory. And we just have to own the reality that we don't remember or think properly all the time. And so I want to embrace, I'm always working with you on your beliefs and your thoughts because those lead to your behaviors. And your behaviors are actually what create that high performance outcome. And the best part of high performance is it doesn't require you to sacrifice and sell your soul. The world's highest performers perform consistently while maintaining their health and well being. That is what hooked me on this research because I was a peak performer. I was scaling the peak, plummeting to the valley to recover and recharge, and then scale the next one, and then down, and then up, and then down. And eventually I got tired of that. And I realized there has to be another way. Because what was really happening behind the scenes is my loved ones were getting the rest of me, not the best of me. And it was awful because I would be picture perfect on the outside to the world. And I would come home so exhausted that it was like I was in this hamster wheel of a routine. Come home, unpack the backpack, unpack my personal purse and lunch tote, cook dinner, Pack while dinner's simmering, prepare and pack lunches for the next day. Then bath time, story time, lay out the clothes for the following day, crash across the finish line while answering a few more emails on my laptop in bed, try to rest, and then wake and do it all again. Well, it turns out your behaviors generate outcomes, right? Your inputs determine the quality of your outputs. I love drawing these stock flow diagrams. Here's my quality of life stock flow diagram that you can see here. So a stock is simply like a bathtub in the middle of that diagram. And if we put quality of life in there, I want you to think about, make your own stock flow. What are the inputs that lead to a quality of life for you? What are they? Have you actually paused to think about it? What are the biobehavioral choices that lead you to an optimal life? And then when you're living optimally, what are the outputs of that? One of those inputs is to give yourself grace, which is what we're going to talk about today. So, I came across this realization this week in full disclosure because I'm in the aftermath of a business fail. I was feeling defeated, discouraged, weary, and tired because I poured my heart and soul into this for 6 weeks. And I'm talking out of the box kinds of hard work, like grounding my feet in soil and doing Qigong, walking through oak trees and laying in forest baths, listening to the divine, downloading things, awakening the absolute fullest expression of myself. It's an identity that feels so foreign to me. That is not the playbook that led me to high levels of success. Yet I know it's the playbook that will allow me to quadruple myself again in a shorter time horizon. And so I'm playing with these ideas. I'm keeping it very simple. I'm using my biobehavioral scorecard because anytime you initiate a brand new change, you need metrics that measure what matters. And often the only metrics we really pay attention to is how we feel in the morning, which is usually foggy and fluffy and a little bit unfocused, and how we feel throughout the day, if we're even paying attention. Sometimes, though, high performers, we're tuned into our productivity levels, so we are paying attention to that. That's a metric. And we pay attention to our bank accounts. Well, life is about a lot more than that. So my scorecard has, I just pared it down actually because I grew it. I did divergent thinking and then convergent thinking using design thinking principles. So divergent thinking is let's capture all of the inputs that lead to quality life and see which ones matter the most to me. Now I can converge again on those. So I did that before cancer. During cancer, again, went divergent, added some new tools into my toolkit, and then converged on how can I find simplicity in this moment when I am feeling symptoms of exhaustion, fatigue, overwhelm, and the solar flare energy that's affecting the earth, which I know very little about. I resonate with it though. I'm like, oh, that's creating a lot of emotional variability in people. Yes, I'm experiencing that. It's leading people to feeling frustrated and defeated and a little bit low vibrational energy. Yep, I'm feeling that. Okay, great. Now I'm self aware. Now what do I do? After self awareness, we have to prepare for action. So I decided, line in the sand, 30-day challenge, new, starting yesterday. I wanted to do it in community with people, launching May 11th and kicking off this Tuesday. However, I have to own the reality that this program wasn't positioned properly. The sales and marketing strategies weren't there. I I have to, instead of, this is what's beautiful, instead of beating myself up, which I'm noticing the growth right now as I'm speaking with you. My former three-dimensional self would have been critical of myself and my failures, would have then turned to my team and been critical of the program leader, my coach, the web designer, the ads strategist. I could have gotten really fierce and critical with everybody. And guess what? My vibrational energy would have been even lower. As I awaken to the best and highest and fullest expression of myself, I'm showing up differently. That's the best part. I was like, all right, brilliant beauties, I need your genius right now. Here's where I'm struggling. This is what a day in the life of me looks like. This is what the week looks like. This is how I started and the mess I'm standing in now. Help me, please. Bring your brilliance. I need you. Notice the difference of that. What good does it do to play the blame game versus playing the high performance leadership strategy, right? As high performers, I want to walk alongside other women who are successfully leading their businesses. So I'm going to support all of the women that I'm working with and elevate them, not tear them down. I'm noticing the same thing in my dating life, by the way, that as I elevate my consciousness, instead of walking into a date and seeing, here's my 14 metrics of success, that's my scorecard, let's see how many does he stack up against? And obviously, I don't really do that, but in my head, I'm doing that. I have a spreadsheet. I make decision making matrices all the time with clients. So you bet your bottom dollar that I have one for my dating life and know exactly what the characteristics I want to see in a man. And I realized, you know what? In my ascension journey, as I see the unity in humanity and in community with others, and I see the beauty of the people I'm surrounded by in Slow Cala, the horse capital of the world, where their motto is God is with us, and people say God bless you at the grocery store. People look you in the eye. People genuinely are present and caring and authentic, and authenticity is the highest vibrational space that we can operate from. And it's genuine, it's pure love. Love's another high vibrational space. So I'm aligning my vibrational space with the magnificent outcomes and vision of my life, which is why I'm in this moment, I'm returning to my destination declaration. I'm returning to my biobehavioral scorecard and high performance scorecards and merging those two things together. So I have a streamlined system and strategy. I'm connected in community because community and coaching are what keep me in the rising tide that raises all ships. And that's why I'm creating that for you. So if you're coming across this, it is with great purpose and great intention. And it's time for you to say, I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of picking myself up. I'm tired of not feeling like I'm ever enough. I'm tired of doing it all alone, suffering in a silo of silence. Are you there? I was suffering in a silo of silence. I now teach my daughter that people are like icebergs because I know that space well. The tip of the iceberg where everything looks majestic and beautiful and dreamy, and underneath that iceberg, you are struggling to keep it together. I feel like I used to be like a duck, and I still go into this mode sometimes, just luckily not as often. And that little duck is like this underneath. Woo, please don't sink, please don't sink, please don't sink. And on the surface though, you're just gliding through life and it looks like everything's happening for you. And it's just not true, right? There's this dichotomy. And that dichotomy often happens when we're taking risks. It's why when we look around, we don't see others that are experiencing that because those others have not come to carnation during this time horizon with the same responsibilities we have. We came with a grander purpose and we're stepping into that, yet that great risk and responsibility requires great rest. That's the uncommon thought that I wanted to introduce you to today. The greater the risk, the greater the rest. This came to me actually whenever I was doing my ab routine this week. And my trainer always says beginner, intermediate, advanced. And in this particular workout, it was, I kid you not, we were on our sides, like on the side of your hiney, where like the cushiony part of your bum. And we're on the side and literally one arm outstretched, the other up at our temples, right behind our temples, and legs folded, and then literally beginner. Intermediate was one leg out straight, pull it in. Advanced, two legs out straight, pull it in. Advanced, she said. I went, oh God. I'm feeling stronger because it's day 13 of my round through this, right? I do 28-day cycles and this is day 13. So I'm like, all right, it's go time. Extend your arm straight, extend this arm straight, and karate chop haya. Like literally, you're basically doing this with your legs. And I was like, howza, that is hard. And I didn't make it through to the end. I did like 3 of those and I was like, whew, that was intense. And instead of judging myself because I'm ascending to the fifth dimension, I chose to see beauty in what I had pushed myself towards. I stood in the gain instead of the gap. Thank you, Sullivan, for that wonderful book, The Gap in the Gain. When you stand in the gap, you typically feel defeated. You see the deficit between where you want to be and where you are. And that's a great place to stand when you're strategically planning your days and managing the minutes. It's not a great place to stand when you're motivating yourself to build a new identity to achieve an entirely new vision for your life, right? When we have a grander vision, we've got to rebuild our identity. And we backwards map from behaviors to thoughts and to beliefs. That's the ladder of inference I climb down with my clients. So I want you starting to think about those things. That's what we're here together for, is to start thinking about the behaviors you're exhibiting, the thoughts that you're carrying, and the beliefs that underlie those thoughts. We often, I know if you're like, I didn't even think about beliefs. I was like, beliefs? I quit going to church a long time ago. Well, let me tell you, I've come across research that shows that Christians are happier beings, and I was like, I wonder why. Now I'm starting to realize it's because they have some beliefs. And I'm also struggling with some of those beliefs because some of those beliefs serve as an agitation for me, but that's okay. I still say I choose relationship over religion. God, I want to know you. And I've actually had the grand opportunity to encounter God on 2 occasions. And so as I awakened my own relationship with God, I could literally feel the warmth, the light. It was like a fuzzy yellowish, orangish light that it was light yellow, getting to that more orangish yellow as it approached me and wrapped me in that loving, energetic vibration. Like literally felt like just tingles all around my upper body, like I was just being enveloped in the most warm, loving, radiant hug. And after feeling that, I thought, this is how I want to feel more often. This is how I want to operate more often. And I got myself way off track with that one. So going back to the ab routine. So as I'm pushing and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausting myself. So instead of staying in the 3D and judging and evaluating whether I was enough in that moment, I chose a 5D perspective that, wow, I'm really proud of myself. I'm standing in the gain of now I can do the advanced option. I never used to be able to do the advanced option. I had a fluffy muffin top from loading my body with toxins, toxic poisons. I just used to think were amazing foods. And now I'm like, oh, no wonder my body keeps the score. That was a great book too. Your body keeps the score. And I actually haven't read that book. I just skimmed a part of it. And I remembered thinking to myself, your body keeps the score. It is going to be your measure of evidence of what is working for you. See these guns? That tells me what I'm doing is working. Rock solid core. That's where all of our major organs are. So let's strengthen it. That's why I do abs every day. Not every day, 6 days a week. And so, and there will, on that note, I didn't do them when we were homeless and really struggling to figure things out, and on our grand lifestyle education adventure, trying to figure out as every door closed in Colorado and I was fighting to stay in the comfort zone, yet also learning to release, trust, and surrender. And as that happened, I started to realize, okay, I got this. I don't have to do all of my scorecard all of the time. And I let the scorecard go and I surrendered to the journey and I enjoyed life in its fullest expression, which now is a metric on my scorecard. And I only need my scorecard when I need it, in a moment like now, where the energies are a little off and I need to ground myself in what I know works for me. So as I look at that ab routine, I'm standing in the gain, right? That, wow, I didn't used to be able to do advanced options. Wow, I gave the advanced a shot and I made it through 5 reps. And then after that, I crashed and burned, and that's okay, because greater the risk, the greater the rest. So I recognized that all of us experience these difficult situations in our lives. And our vibration, if you think of your vibration as a scale, like on your arm, when we experience those difficulties, our vibration lowers, your mind becomes really heavy and scattered, It's like the WTF moment where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to turn. You kind of cry out for help little by little bits in like kind of passively saying like little comments here and there, hoping you'll get it figured out. But it's like still, you're on the struggle bus and it's pretty clear. The solutions aren't there. Everything feels like this exhaustive effort. And I know for me, I feel like I'm stuck in Chumbawamba's I get knocked down, but I get up again. And it's like on repeat. And I'm exhausting myself in this low vibrational space. Yet when your vibration elevates, your life is expansive. It becomes interesting again. That's the space of imagining the possibilities, and creating your own reality becomes much easier. When your vibration lowers, you're in the space of fear and anxiety. And the behavioral choice that accompanies that is control, right? When we're in the space of expansion and possibility, our behavior becomes the expectation of miracles, and we're in flow. Literally, like a beautiful, I feel like I'm just liquid when I'm in this state. I haven't been in this state all week, it's been in and out. But when I'm in this state, I am liquid. There's boulders of life, but I'm just flowing right around them. I'm hearing the sounds of nature. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, and I'm just flowing with life. And that's where I want you to be. So we've got to learn to cleanse our mind of those negative thoughts that are clouding our energy field so that you can make that jump in your vibration. And there's so many ways to do this. The key is to grab your biobehavioral scorecard, start listing the things that make you feel good. You could do it in a stock flow diagram like I showed you. So, quality of life is your stock. What are the inputs that increase your quality of life? Just draw an arrow and then start writing words, scatter them over there like a mind map. And then what are the outputs you see? The outputs are your why. That's your reasoning for doing the hard stuff, for choosing the uncommon behaviors that lead to a higher level of performance in your life. So for me, what I'm playing with and loving so much is sound bathing. What I noticed is that when I went to lay in my sound bath, I really wanted to go back to sleep. I had a little bit of extra time in my calendar, discretionary time, and I didn't want to do anything. As I like to say, my give a shitter was dialed down. So that Goldilocks grace period came to mind because I realized it's okay to give yourself grace and lay down and rest. It's not okay to try to go back to sleep after you just scheduled and managed your minutes so that you got 8.5 hours of sleep. And because you don't want to face this long, arduous list of things that you now don't know if they work, right? I'm doubting, is that the right strategy? Are those the right actions? So doubt creeps in, right? Lowers the vibration, puts us into the state of control. And now we want to abandon the vision. We start to exhibit those abandoning behaviors, self sabotaging behaviors, some people call them. And so as I'm laying in this sound bath, I so badly, truth be told, you want to know what I did? I actually set an alarm for an hour and a half from when I laid down. And I was going to give myself grace. And after about 11 minutes, I started to feel better. Oh my gosh, that's crazy that it's 11. 11 is my number. It just keeps coming up all the time. 11, 11. I look at the clock, it's 1:11. And it didn't even occur to me that timed, my time had been 11 minutes had passed from when I set that timer for an hour and a half to be an hour and 19 by the time I removed my eye pillow. And as I was coming out of that sound bath, I thought, are you giving yourself a little too much grace here? Like maybe there's a Goldilocks grace period. Not enough leads to frustration and our 3D self, right? Where we're judging, we're demanding, we're controlling. We're really operating from the behavioral space of fear, and the belief under that is that we're not enough. If we want to be in flow, we have to behave our way there, right? So that's how I discovered there was this Goldilocks grace period in my life. And I was like, are you giving yourself too much grace or too little grace? Or are you finding the right balance between self compassion and ownership and accountability? And so I have this norm when I'm creating communities of learn and space, psychologically safe spaces for learning and growth. And it's know when to be fierce and when to be gentle, and to recognize your journey is unique to you, right? I might be in a season where I'm ready to be fierce. When I was in the aftermath of cancer in the radiation chamber, oh, honey, I had to be gentle. It wasn't easy, but I had to learn how to be gentle with myself. So let's just talk a little bit about too much grace, too little grace, and that Goldilocks spot. So, too much grace can lead us to complacency, procrastination, stagnation. We get really stuck there. We stay there for a little too long. Like I was describing, I just wanted to sleep and escape a little bit because I didn't know how to best use my time. There's plenty on this list, but I'm like, are those the right things? I don't know. So then I start to self abandon. A lot of people, that's a very uncommon practice. A lot of people will just start pedaling faster, right? I used to do that. I've learned that my to do list and cross and let things off of a sticky note while it feels good, that doesn't actually mean I'm doing better. For me, to be slower helps me actually recalibrate and get myself to that higher level. That's, I think, for those who are looking at the normal distribution curve, if you're a few standard deviations above the norm, striving for that highest, that top 2%, 1% range, you're not going to be able to hustle, hurry, grind your way there. That's a space that is created from divinely aligned behaviors. Too little grace, that's where we're at kind of now, right? Is that we perceive that to escape that norm, that mediocre middle, we need to be harsh and critical towards ourselves. We lean into the masculine energies. These are the energies that researchers have described as decisive, disciplined, and aggressive in the pursuit of goals. I don't have those in front of me. That was a little bit of an off thing, but really important to note that when we're extending too little grace, sometimes we lean into those masculine energies. We have to be aware of it. Am I being really disciplined right now, really decisive, really determined? Go, 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 go aggressively without an awareness of myself and my needs. And that is what leads to the spaces of burnout, anxiety, and self doubt. So we got to find that kind of happy medium, right? So that we're not living in the impact of perfectionism and unrealistic expectations. Those things weigh heavily on our mental health and our well-being. To find the balance, we need that self-compassion and knowing when to be gentle and knowing when to be fierce and how to have accountability and ownership. And so we need more rest. What does rest look like to you? I would love to know in the comments. Tell me below, what does rest look like to you? For me, it's interesting. Rest used to be to detach from my to-do list and go out to brunch or happy hour. And then I learned that I had gained so much weight during COVID. I was like, I can't keep exhibiting these behaviors and expect my waistline to not continue to grow. I saw something crazy that like the average American gains a pound or something a year. I can't remember if it was 1.2, 1.4, whatever it was. But even as I thought about it, I thought, oh my gosh, that means I would be like 40 to 50 pounds heavier on my deathbed. And I went, I don't want it. I don't want that. That's not my reality. Again, common. If it's common, I don't want to be doing it. So I started to choose different choices. And rest for me then, instead of going to happy hour or brunch, rest became walking in nature, going on hikes. And I started to pay attention to how those things made me feel. And I went, wow, that actually feels better, especially if I do it with someone I like. Then I can enjoy communication and connection while I'm moving my body and getting some endorphins going. And that's why in this season right now, I am returning to my biobehavioral high performance scorecard because I need to be measuring what matters. I need to remind myself and document my mood when I wake up. How am I feeling each day? Am I keeping track? I'm going to open it up and actually share a few details with you just for fun. So I track my mood at wake. I track the hours of sleep that I had, the quality, was it quality or not? I used to rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. Now it's just simple yes or no because I have My watch tracks that for me now. Did I wake before my alarm? That's a good indication that my body's rested for me. So I like to track that. Did I drink warm lemon water or a detox tea or my everyday dose coffee replacement in the morning? Something that brings that sensation of warmth and ease into my day. That's just a ritual. That's my ritual. You can find an ease into your day ritual. I suggest you have one. Did I spend time on my Peloton and do my ab workout? Am I synergizing my energies with sound? And did I walk my agenda and review next actions? That's my morning. That's my morning scorecard. In the afternoon, I have a different scorecard that tracks, where I reflect back really quickly and look at the day and just kind of give an overall baseline. The most important thing that I have on there is my mood overall, because what I notice is I don't wake like this. I don't wake ready for the world. But usually by the end of the day, I'm in a good mood. And so sometimes, remember how that mind doesn't always think properly? Sometimes I think that I've woken up and it's been a bad day. But really, it's just that I woke up not in the greatest mood. I don't wake up in a great mood, it turns out. I wake up kind of begrudgingly, easing out of bed. And I think a lot of that is because of the expectations I place on myself. So I have this like long to-do list and I don't really want to go do it. I really want to lay and bathe in sound and relax and ease into my day and trust that everything on that list always gets done. So maybe I don't need to stress about it so much. That's my current struggle, my current journey, what I'm on with you. I thank you for sharing space with me today. I want to wrap each of these up with some communications because I think it's important. It'll help you know if you're an ideal client for me, number one. If you really need support, I'm told that I am here to do some big things right now. And so I'm going live often so that I can connect with my soul family, with the people who I'm here to serve and support and uplift. And so I want to share these messages because they may help you know if you'd be a good fit for us to work together. They also might just give you some hope. And I think you'll also start to see as your vibration raises, the way you communicate changes, and that changes everything. So, this person that I'm going to share with you was in training during the installation of my water softener. And it was a divine connection. We hit it off. I got her number and I check on her. She said, "Good morning. I definitely let my energy get sucked out over the weekend. I did my old pattern. I see my old patterns emerging, so I'm changing them. I know I'm free and I can feel my power returning as I type this message. Everything really is a learning experience. I hope you're having a great day and sending loads of love and light your way." She didn't talk like that when we first started working together. I'm just saying, that was so fun. And I responded with, "I'm in the same boat. You have no idea how perfectly and divinely timed your message is. I'm just finishing a sound bath to restart my day." So on this particular moment, I had started my day with the hurry and hustle habits. And then I literally was like, "Jay, why do you do this? You now know better. You are learning new plays. Why do you revert back?" Well, psychologists call it fallback behavior. It's a part of growth. And when we're embracing a new identity and new patterns of behavior, we do fall back into some of those old patterns. Know that that's normal. Give yourself a little bit of that Goldilocks grace, my friends. And I said, "I am finishing a sound bath to restart my day, and I don't want to get up. I feel guilty for not wanting to live fully into my life. I used to be this powerhouse rock star before a layoff in cancer kicked my booty. I don't even know where that girl went, but I miss her. And then I also know that I'm ascending to a higher level of consciousness, and I don't want to go back to being her. I want to dance with the divine and live in my soul's sacred purpose, expanding my consciousness and living with joy, not obligation." And then I said, "Thank you so very much for your message. This is definitely one that's a gift from God." And she wrote back, "We put ourselves under so much pressure. Sometimes I look at my life and I think they are all someone else's. That girl back then would never do what I'm doing today. It doesn't mean she's still not there, though. Your powerhouse is going strong, just in a different direction, in a different way. You're stronger than ever because of what you went through and continue to go through. I admire you for taking time for yourself. Sometimes we have to force ourselves to just sit in the now. I think I was trying to do too much, and it's okay for us to get a real break for ourselves and not feel guilty. Thank you. I always feel better when I get to talk to you. One of these days, I'll take a real day off. Every time I do, something ends up coming up that I just can't pass up. That's how beautiful and connected communication sounds. It's so divine. And then this is to one of my clients. Oh no, this one was to my family. Um, and is related to, some of you know that my daughter's horse went lame a few weeks ago, and she was limping, and we took a break from competition and had the vet out, did some block testing, which is where they block off incrementally up their leg with something that kind of numbs them so that you can actually see when they start moving normally. That helps you identify where the challenge is. And so we identified the challenge in her front ankle, or I don't know if that's the technical horse term. I ride waves, not horses. So it was just above the hoof. And we did some x-rays, and those x-rays showed that she has very significant arthritis. It was incredibly sad to learn. My 3D self was like, are you kidding me? I spent over $3,000 moving that horse across the country, and now she's not going to be able to do what Gigi loves doing. However, my 5D self knows that we already knew that. We brought her here because of a divine connection with an amazing trainer who has a lesson program, and Barbie loves to jump and would be great at helping those at lower levels gain the courage and confidence, just like Gigi trained her to do. And so we're standing in that space of miracles, and instead of all of the defeat, right? That's a major shift that I want to invite you to make happen in your life. So I wrote this request to my family in a group text because I have learned about the power of prayer and how manifesting really does create miracles. I had a client today this week, that had a home on the market for over 70 days. She had just dropped the price $800,000 and was still not seeing results, and was trying and trying and trying and trying to sell that property. And we decided to do some manifesting together. And that night, we both went into bedtime with full manifestation, literally the next day an offer. It was brilliant. I was like, wow, it could be this easy. I experienced that divine state of miracles from the moment we stepped foot in Ocala. One door opened, another door opened, another door opened. My realtor was like, is this your life? You just get to live like this all the time in this like divine state of miracles? And I was like, holy cow. No, actually, that hasn't always been my life. But the biobehavioral choices that I had to learn to slow the growth of my cancer while I waited for my insurance to calibrate because of the layoff led me to being able to hear the voice of God more clearly. And so now I'm in more alignment with the fifth dimension, and I live in this state of flow and miracles most of the time. I still have to be on planet Earth, but most of the time, and that's all that matters to me. Like during cancer, I was like, you just have to succeed and get up and get moving most days. That means 4 days out of 7. You've got to be on your game. The other days you can give yourself grace. That's that Goldilocks period, right? I did that during cancer. And now I feel like I'm obviously on the other side of that. So I don't need 3 full days to just give myself grace. Now I try to be 5 or 6 on, 1 or 2 off. But there's a more divine flow. So it's not hustle and grind, and then it's not that peak performance, right? It's not hustle and grind and then plummet and recharge. It's a continual flow and growth at that higher vibrational space. So I wrote to my family, grand rising. Notice the difference of those words. Good morning. Well, morning. Good morning. Grand rising. Do you hear it? Our language matters. And so I said, grand rising. I need some prayers and manifesting of miracles. Barbie is still off on her left front. Maybe slightly better, but not ready to work yet. The injections do better if they get moving, but we'll take it easy through the weekend and then see how she's doing. This is week number 3, and Gigi's starting to lose it. This journey is so emotional. As I strive to see the beauty, who on earth would have ever guessed that I would be requesting these prayers? I literally lived in my Honda Civic for 2 weeks after college in the year 2000. I couldn't even afford grapes or the fancy fruit snacks, the ones without high fructose corn syrup, when she was a child. I was on such a tight budget that she never even had a high chair. And here we are in the horse capital of the world with a beautiful horse, some of the world's best beaches, surrounded by amazing people. I feel like our lives are proof that anything, literally anything, is possible. Stand courageous in the energy of possibility today and pray dangerously. My new favorite term from author Craig Groeschel. Gigi received a $300 a week job opportunity in her inbox yesterday with an amazing jumper who has a really incredible farm. And she's going to meet a remarkable trainer tomorrow to see about helping her train ponies for pony finals, which has been a dream of hers for a while. We are standing in the land of possibilities, so pray dangerously. Pray for miracles beyond what our minds can imagine. I love you. And I want to invite you into that space. I feel called to pray together, which is uncomfortable for me, but I stand on the shoulders of a beautiful woman named Sam who taught me how to pray. And I'm reading this book, Dangerous Prayers. And so my mantras right now are live boldly, pray dangerously, love wholeheartedly. Ooh, I get this tingle. Oh my gosh. Woo wee. I feel so good. I love it. Okay, God, here we go. Thank you for affirming my decision to do this. I love when I get those. I've asked God, could you please give me memos, billboards, anything that's like a little more clear because I don't do so well making it up on my own. So here we go together. Actually, you know what? It's so funny that this is again common and uncommon. This is the natural, what we've been taught, right? Some believe this is actually how people prayed. And so I'm going to actually be lifted. I'm not even going to rest my head. I'm going to truly just be lifted and posture myself in grand expectation. This is what I did during cancer, bold, grand expectations of my prayers. They say that what you pray, how you pray, reflects what you believe about God. And I used to pray small. And now, the more I ask for relationship over religion and I start to get glimpses of how big God is, I'm praying bold, my friends. So let's bring it. Dear Heavenly Father, angels, guardians of the galaxies, protectors, higher councils, and celestial beings, we invite you into this space. We thank you for your leadership. I feel like I've entered the boardroom into your space in this moment, and I'm here to say thank you. Thank you for an amazing time together virtually in this live. Thank you for the people who will share this with others to provide uplift and be that rising tide in someone's life that raises all ships. Thank you for those who are listening as a podcast and maybe driving or walking or doing dishes or household chores and just connecting a little bit deeper and recognizing that we're not alone in this world. We don't have to stand in a silo of suffering and silence, that we were meant to be in connection with you, Lord, that we love and the divine beings that are working miracles on behalf. Thank you for your leadership team. I see the evidence of your goodness all over my life. I see it in the little micro movements, the smiles at a grocery store, the times when I'm in a little bit of a hurry and someone slows and lets me in and lets me pass. The times when someone forwards an opportunity and says, "This, I'm thinking of Gigi." And then I get it again from another individual that says, "I'm thinking of Gigi." And I say, "I see you working. I see you. Thank you for being present in my life." I see you working through the hearts of people who send me a message in the morning to ask, "How did I sleep?" I see you working when someone just checks in and says, "I hope you are an inspiration today." Remember that that's what you do. Thank you, God, for affirming me with people. It warms my heart. I'm weary right now. I'm tired. I feel like I've failed in my business. And I know I want to succeed for my little girl. I want to show her what's possible. I want to be able to afford her next horse. I want to watch her make her Olympic dreams come true and see her jump to the highest of heights and have her know that even at 4 years old, she knew this was her path and that we surrendered to following you. That it hasn't been easy to escape the traditional world of school, to school at home, and to choose this way out of the box life. I thought I would have a husband, a home, a white picket fence, two cute kids. They'd play soccer, I'd coach, they'd go off to college, and I guess we'd live common lives. Maybe that's what I thought. Maybe the society conditions us that way. And I'm so grateful that this child chose me and woke me up and said, "Hey, you're capable of more. And that I listened and I got curious and I was persistent. And God, I thank you for strengthening me. I didn't know you as well back then in those moments. And I love the fact that you're always here, that you're ever present. And the love and light that I feel from you, I see it, I feel it. I know that it's bigger than my earthly perspective that was seeing Jesus on a cross. That my kindergarten level faith kind of got in the way of knowing you at the graduate level. And I just thank you for loving me. I thank you for keeping me lifted. I thank you for the people who are going to be reached by this message. I thank you for the soul family that you're surrounding me with, Lord. I know that we're here to do big things together. And I know that we're here to ascend beyond the third dimension of stress and struggle and defining our worth and our worthiness by the bullets on our resumes and the dollars in our bank accounts. I know that you're tugging at a lot of our hearts, waking us up to something bigger. And I'm so grateful for the tools that you've equipped me with throughout 20 years of experience to help women launch impact driven businesses, to help people live lives that are characterized by joy, peace, love, authenticity, grace. Thank you, God. Allow us to walk this week with a Goldilocks grace, helping us know at any given time, when are we giving ourselves too little grace? When are we giving ourselves too much grace? And when are we just right? Being in divine flow with you, Lord, that's what we seek. Thank you, God. Thank you, angels, guardians, protectors, higher councils, celestial beings. We feel your radiant love. We welcome it into this space, and we love the divine guidance you provide. Thank you for delighting in the details of our lives. Scripture tells us that you know every hair on our head, that you delight in the details of our lives and direct the steps of the godly. And God, we thank you. We also thank you for the words in Joshua that encourage us to be strong and courageous amidst these challenging times. And most importantly, God, thank you for bringing me the verse Romans 12:2 that day in January after winter camp when I had been away from the Bible for 18 years. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. I will not, Lord. I will not conform to the patterns of this world. To yesterday, I drew the line in the sand and said, all right, 30 days, get back on track with those biobehavioral choices. Get recalibrated, get back on mission, and let's go. I feel the vibrational energy rising. I thank you for doing, I love the verse, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. All of you give me strength, and I want to thank you. I want to thank the entire boardroom. I see you, leaders. I see you. I see the work that you're doing in our lives, and I'm so, so, so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you with immense gratitude. I pray for grand blessings in the week ahead. I pray that the meetings that I have this afternoon are just truly divine and lead to new clients who want to awaken their highest potential, who want to discover their uniqueness and stand in the confidence that comes when we build our competencies and competence. And God, I just thank you for those meetings that are ahead. I also thank you for the divine beings that we're going to hang with at the farm and in the homes with the kittens. Thank you so much for this beautiful life, Lord. Please direct our steps. Please allow us to be the absolute best versions of ourselves, the highest and fullest expression of ourselves as we navigate the 3D world today. In your holy name we pray. Amen. And all the people said, amen. Do you see how it's a little bit different? Oh my gosh, my prayer life is just growing, and it's just beautiful. So with that, my friends, go out and shine your beautiful love and radiant light into the world. Mwah.